for sure. About 8 months ago, you had surgery. You had a Tommy John surgery. You injured your arm, your throwing arm. Talk to me about what it was like going through that process of rehab and what it's been like getting back to where you want to be.
Yeah, like you said, 8 months ago, tore my UCL throwing. Pretty common injury among overhead throwing athletes, such as javelin throwers, baseball players, and post injury, I went through about a month or so of rehab, trying to see if I was able to compete for the season before I got my surgery, and ended up not being able to do that. Got the surgery, and it ended up being a lot of time that I spent up in Gainesville, where I learned to enjoy what I'm doing even more. It's something like that really shows you how much you truly care about your sport. And so I got the surgery about 8 months ago. This was in April, and coming through April, June, July, all the way through the summer, I was home for 4 days totally during the summer, and the rest of it was spent up here rehabbing 3 times a week for 6 months. And after roughly 6 months, maybe I think it's like 6 months and 2 weeks exactly, is when I was able to graduate rehab and start getting into a throwing progression, preparing for this upcoming season. But it was definitely a long process. Looking back on it now, it's kind of hard to believe how like far I've come and how honestly quick it's all felt. But it was definitely something that I think wasn't bad going through one time. Definitely helps me appreciate what I'm doing even more, helps me be a student of my sport even more. I found myself recently getting into, more of the biology of throwing, rather than just, brute strength and this and that, learning about certain bones and ligaments inside my arm and my body, and appreciating all the work that I put in.
I definitely think injuries is something that can humble you. It helps you see how much, even if it's unintentionally, how much you take what you do for granted. Sports, life in general. Like, I'm sure there were certain things at first when you got hurt that just were harder for you to do than normal. Like, it's just injuries, I think, are, like you said, it's always, not always, but I think going through certain injuries one time is like good enough. It can teach you a lot. You can learn a lot. And if you have the right mindset, you can become a better person, a better athlete, a better everything, really, just by taking it in and actually just learning something from it, not just being down on yourself or feeling bad about being injured. So I definitely understand what you meant by that.